Welcome to the Stress Free Dentist Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Eric Block. As always, I want to inspire, entertain, and educate you on the best tools and technologies out there. My goal is to help make your practice and career more profitable, efficient, and most importantly, more enjoyable. And check out all of my nonfiction and children's books on Amazon, and check out the stressfreedentist.com for any upcoming events. And if you're feeling you're a dental professional that's burnt out, or you just feel stuck or want to get to that next level, visit the International Academy of Dental Life Coaches or www.iadlc.com, and we'll get you matched up with a life coach that understands dentistry. I also wanted to thank our amazing sponsor, Equa Marketing. They have helped me and my practice over the years to improve with SEO and website performance. And to find out how you can make your practice dominate in your area, go to www.equa.com/MSMSFD to book your complimentary meeting. Again, that's www.ekwa.com/MSMSFD. All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode. And I'm joined by our recurring guest, the CEO of Equa Marketing, Naren Arulrajah. Naren, thanks so much for joining us again.
Hey, Eric. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really looking forward to talking about our topic today. I think it's titled, What is Your Marketing ROI?
Yeah, actually, I want to ask you a very hard-hitting question. But first of all, can you actually just answer what marketing ROI means?
Absolutely. Marketing ROI, obviously, we all know what the acronym ROI means. It's return on investment, right? So marketing ROI is, what is my return on investment on my marketing dollars? And most practices, at the current time or during their life, have tried different marketing methods. So you want to know what is the ROI for each method. So for example, you might say, I spend $50 per new patient for method A, and then I spend $200 a new patient for method B, assuming we are attracting the same type of patient. So from an ROI perspective, the one that's costing you $50 a new patient is 400% better than the one that's costing you $200 a new patient. Why? You're getting the same result for 1/4 the cost, right? So any businessman will say, okay, I'm going to put my money into the $50 option versus the $200 option. Why? Because it's, I'll get 4 times the results for the same money.
And I know a lot of people ask, how do I, what's the cost of a new patient? How do I actually calculate the cost of a new patient?
Yeah, that's a great question. The cost of a new patient is important because if you really want to find return on investment, you have to know how much does it cost for me to acquire the patient, and then you want to know how much is that patient worth to you. So let's say the average patient spends $1,000 with you, and it costs you to get, let's say, $100. I want to use simple math to acquire that patient, which is the cost of a new patient. Now your ROI is 10, right? Because you spend $100, you got $1,000 back. So it's what's the value of that new patient divided by the cost of the new patient is the ROI. Now that's how you know if marketing is worth it or not worth it. But within marketing, for you to start comparing the different marketing methods, you need to know the cost of a new patient from those different methods. Like for example, I've had clients tell me that they ran a radio campaign or a mailing campaign, and it cost them $500 to get a new patient or $1,000 to get a new patient. In other words, let's say they spent $20,000 on that campaign, they got 20 patients, right? So each patient cost them $20,000 divided by 20 patients, $1,000 per patient. And they'll be like, I'm losing money at that rate. I don't make enough money to pay my staff, pay for the marketing company, and make a profit. So that example where you are getting 20 patients for $20,000 through that radio, direct mail campaign, it's a negative ROI, meaning you're losing money. So you don't ever want to do that again. But even once you find the marketing methods that work for you, you want to pick the best one. That's where being able to compare costs become important. If you can get the same patient for $50 versus $200, Both might be profitable, but of course, the one that's costing you $50 is a lot more profitable. So of course, put more money into the one that's going to cost you $50 as opposed to 200.
Yeah, it also just shows you how important it is to track, each method of marketing that you do. And if you're going to have a billboard, or you're going to have a specific marketing plan to have a tracking phone number, or a way to track, if these marketing methods are actually working. Now, we've talked many times, and we've talked about the benefits, and actually the expense of SEO versus Google Ads. Why is it that SEO is actually 1/6 the cost of Google Ads?
Yeah, that's a great question, and the way to know that it's even 1/6 the cost is you track it, like you were saying, Eric. So you put a tracking number, and then okay, this patient is costing me, let's say $20, let's say through SEO, and the same patient through Google Ads might cost you $120. How do you know that? You put a tracking number, create landing pages, and then you start tracking cost versus what you get out of it. Now, the reason it costs 6 times more, at the very least, a lot of times it could even be 10 times more than SEO, is a couple of big reasons. One is SEO gets cheaper over time, meaning, let's say, like we work with you, right? At the end of year one, you were getting 20 new patient calls. Today, you're getting 60 new patient calls. You're not spending 3 times more money on SEO versus at end of year one, but your SEO is producing even more results over time. So that's one reason why Google Ads gets more and more expensive relative to SEO, because SEO gets cheaper and cheaper over time, because you're building on the results from last year for this year's results. And then for next year, you're building on these 2 years' results plus next year's worth of work. So 3 years worth of work is what's driving 30-year results. So on one hand, SEO gets cheaper. The second reason is Google Ads get more expensive. Google has to keep making more and more and more money to make the investors happy. So their stock price goes up, and the population of the world doesn't go up, especially in the Western countries. So they have to keep charging you more and more and more. So they'll find ways to charge slowly, but slowly increase the cost per click of various keywords. But the real culprit is nothing to do with these two reasons. It's psychology. We don't trust ads. So we need to see 6 people through ads to equal 1 person through SEO. Where did I come up with the 6 number? The average person who comes through SEO will give you 90 seconds, meaning they trust you because it's not an ad. So they'll give you 90 seconds to kind of look around the site and decide if you're right for them. Same person, let's say they clicked on an ad instead of clicking on an SEO result, will only give you 15 seconds. Why? The ad is clearly labeled. So the minute they're clicking, their mind says, what's the catch? It's an ad. Anybody can buy ads. They know that, just like you know that. So they're like, what's the catch? So the minute they find something, one thing that kind of makes them second guess, they're out of your website. They leave your website. So you have to go through a lot more people to equal 1 person from SEO. And that's why, again, we actually ran numbers. We A, compared costs, and B, we looked at the psychology. At the very least, it will be 6 times more expensive. I mean, and as SEO gets better and better, it could be 8 times, 10 times, 15 times more expensive, because SEO will get cheaper, Google Ads will get more expensive.
Yeah, it's so true. The psychology of it is, if I click on a paid ad, it's usually by accident, and I quickly click off of it because I trust the organic section below the paid ads, and those are typically more specific to what I'm searching for than the paid Google ads. Now, what about social media ads? What's the cost of those, and do those work? Are they for everyone?
Yeah, so social media ads are typically twice the cost of Google ads. And I guess the other downside of social media ads is you will have a lot of no-shows. Why? Because the one thing that Google Ads has going for it, even though it's 6 times more expensive than SEO, is the people who are clicking on those ads are looking for what you are selling. In other words, your ad said dental implants. They typed in the keyword dental implants. So the ad showed up next to that keyword they just typed in dental implants. So we know they're looking for dental implants. So even though they don't trust you because it's an ad, at least they need dental implants. Otherwise, why would they type in dental implants, right? With social media ads, it's different. Like, they're watching Kim Kardashian, they're watching, I don't know, a CEO talking or a cat video, whatever their interest is, right? Remember, today's social media is us going through our remotes, 25 years ago, like just sit there and like you're vegging out and just flipping through your remotes. That's what our social media is. The middle of the day, you're tired or you just want a distraction, go to Instagram and keep scrolling through those videos. And all of a sudden an ad pops up. And what does Instagram do? It shows us the videos we like, right? So if I'm into cat videos, I'll get a lot of cat videos. If I'm into, a certain celebrity, I'm going to get a lot of that content for that celebrity. All of a sudden, this ad for a dentist shows up in the middle of something I'm really interested in. I might click on it accidentally, but then I don't even remember clicking on it because I was so engrossed by that topic that I was interested in, which is what Instagram and TikTok keeps feeding me, right? The things I like, they show me more of those things. So I don't even remember I clicked on it. That's why people, when you call them back, like, I don't remember, doing this. They're almost like arguing with you because they don't even remember doing it. So for those reasons, there's no trust, just like Google Ads, but also there's no intention, meaning I'm not interested in that particular topic. For those two reasons, you have to spend a lot more money and expect a lot of no-shows and a lot of holes in your schedule because people won't show up. So my take is, maximize SEO. Once you can't push SEO anymore, then go to Google Ads. And once you can't push Google Ads anymore, then go to social media ads.
Yeah, we just got a mini poodle, and I'm always watching videos of mini poodles and or Game of Thrones. I love watching clips of Game of Thrones, and I get annoyed when an ad pops up. No, so this is social media ads. This is like a paid campaign for, let's say, like a Facebook campaign, where I'm actually putting in money to try to boost a campaign. What about organic social media, where I'm just putting up posts about me in my office or about procedures that I do in the office?
Yeah, so I guess one of the benefits of having a large team of 250 employees and 500 plus clients is we get to see what works and what doesn't. What I notice is, I think you have heard me say that SEO works for the top 5%. Now social media works for the top 1%. Though that 1% is what I call influencer, right? So you are the one who has more than 100,000 followers on name the platform, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. And you got there by spending 15 to 20 hours every week, posting 3 to 4 videos a day. And you have been doing that for 2 to 3 years before you break through that 100,000 follower, ceiling. And the minute you cross that, then anything you post will get 100,000 views just like that, 200,000 views just like that. Now, the other thing you have to keep in mind is social media is not local. SEO is local. So a lot of the people who are seeing your videos are going to be thousands of miles away. So even though you got 100,000 people, of that 100,000 people, how many live in your community? Maybe 1,000. Out of those 1,000, how many really need what you're selling? Let's say implants, maybe 30. Again, typically 3% of the people of the general population will need what you're selling. So you need massive numbers. So social media, especially the free social media, what we call organic social media, don't do it unless you are able to become an influencer, unless you're able to break through that 100,000 follower barrier. And for that, you have to be committed for 3 years. You have to love creating these videos, 2 to 3 a day. And you have to, put in the 15 to 20 hours, and you have to enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, you can't do it. Unfortunately, I know this may not be something you like to hear. You can't outsource free organic social media because think about it. Organic social media is exactly like Oprah, right? You have to build a brand. You have to become famous. Once you're famous, other people will cover what you're talking about and so forth. Same thing here. But to become famous, you have to put a lot of time and effort, just like Oprah did. So if you love it, if you want to be that Oprah, in dentistry, then don't do it. But if you don't love it, if you're not going to put the 15 to 20 hours because you would rather spend that time with your kids or your family or doing dentistry, then don't go down that road because you won't. It's like only the 1% will win. Either you become that 1% or don't waste your time. That's my 2 cents.
And now what about traditional media? How does that compare these days?
Yeah, traditional media, I think you have to be smart. Like radio and TV doesn't work. Mailers don't work. And again, for the very simple reason, you're not targeting the people who need you. With SEO, only the people who are looking for implants see your implant page, right? With radio, TV, or mailers, that's not the case. You don't know when you send out 10,000 mailers who need a dentist, for example, or who need implants. You don't know. So you're going to annoy the 97%. So out of the 10,000, 9,700 in order to get the 300 to kind of maybe like you. But today we are so used to getting the information on our fingertips by Googling things. Even we get these mails, we put it in the garbage. In my case, I even have a sign, no unsolicited mails. So I don't even get those. So they just don't even bother delivering because I literally put that on the mailbox. So like those things don't come into my mailbox. So so with all these barriers and people being able to get what they want, my take is they don't work. But if you want to try it, if you really believe in it, maybe you like the person who's selling and maybe she or he is convincing, put a tracking number, see what happens, right? So do a limited campaign, $5,000. If you get, let's say, more than 50 new patients, that means it's costing you $100. But I would guarantee you won't. At least I haven't talked to a single doctor in the last 2 to 3 years who's telling me that the cost of traditional media ads is, like the only feedback I get is at least $1,000 a new patient, maybe a $500, if you really get lucky. But why do you have to do that when you can get a patient for, let's say, $30 from SEO? Really less than what you would cost with traditional media.
That's great advice. Now, how do we get started with finding out about what's the best strategy for our office?
Yeah, I think you need to do a marketing review. Like, you need to know where you stand, because if you don't know where you stand compared to a competition, you cannot come up with a plan. So I would recommend what we call a marketing strategy meeting. It's our meeting. The link is equa.com/MSMSFD. equa.com/MSMSFD. Just book that marketing strategy meeting and try to find out where you stand. And of course, the other thing we do is we develop a plan for you. So regardless of where you stand, how do you get into the top 5% of practices that is enjoying 95% of the free traffic? So that's what I would recommend. And then once you have a plan, don't forget, you need to know the cost of a new patient. So keep putting those tracking numbers, whatever method to track. So then you can compare apples to apples. And on an ongoing basis, if you're doing 3 things, cut the one that's the worst, do more of the ones that's the best, right? I mean, it's common sense, right? Simple arithmetic. If one patient is costing you, $20 and the other one is costing you $120, don't spend money on the $120 patient till you have maxed out the $20 patient bucket.
That's great advice. Naren Arulrajah, the CEO of Equa Marketing, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks again for listening to the Stress Free Dentist podcast. And don't hesitate to get in touch with me at info@thestressfreedentist.com. And if you haven't already, please subscribe on your favorite platform and leave us a review. Until the next episode, I'm Dr. Eric Block, the Stress Free Dentist.